Hello everyone. Quick thank you to everyone that's left a review on iTunes. I have no way of replying because iTunes is... I won't say anything bad about iTunes just in case Apple come down on me, but I can't reply to your reviews, but I really appreciate it. Thanks also for everyone that messages me on Instagram and says nice things, and for people that are sharing the podcast on their IG stories. It's everything for me. So thank you so much. Okay, so 2 events coming up that I've just announced. First one is a live podcast with Dan Morgan. That is September 7th. So this is going to be in the Yoga Hub. It's a free event, 20 people maximum. 3 people have signed up already, and I announced it yesterday. The other event is Heels Overhead, the handstand workshop, which is the week before that, August 31st, at Greystones Yoga Studio. And that's 35 quid, which is a bargain for Greystones because it's quite a posh place. So all information can be found on kevinboyleyoga.ie/events and retreats. The other thing is the early bird for the teacher training with Yoga Hub, which is led by myself and Catherine Henley, is ending on August 12th. So if you listen before then, you have a chance to sign up for teacher training. That is starting in September and it lasts for 10 months until May next year. Roughly 1 to 2 sessions a month. The early bird will finish. We're starting on starting on September 21st. So if you don't grab the early bird, maybe you can grab a ticket after that, and or grab your place. It'd be great to have you. Feel free to message me with any questions you have about that. The podcast sponsor for today is Small Changes, the Ye Olde Faithful, whatever that expression is, organic, eco-friendly, plant-based whole food store here in Dublin, Ireland. Zero waste ethos. They've actually started to introduce those big containers where you go in, you get your bag and you pour out your own nuts, seeds, lentils, dried fruit, whatever, and then you can weigh it yourself. So I've noticed they're getting a lot busier in there, which is cool. People are obviously getting more conscious about their consumerism or their consumption. And you can go in and serve yourself and just pay at the checkout. They're based in Drumcondra, Dublin 9. Any information about them is found on smallchanges.ie. So today's podcast guest, most importantly, is Mandalei Kuhn. Mandalei was a guest on the podcast about a year ago, I would say in September. And so if you don't know Mandalei, think of this. She was a trained lawyer. That's what she worked at full time. When I met her 2 years ago at the Yoga Hub Christmas party, she was very much head in the legal game and doing part-time yoga teaching. And now she's left all of that and doing full-time yoga teaching, retreats, events, ceremonies. And she's a real inspiration. So I hope you enjoyed this chat with Mandalei. Without further ado, here she is. Now, last time we spoke was November?
No, it would have had to have been August because I left the country last September.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I checked the... Okay.
Oh, yeah, we recorded in August but released in November.
Okay.
Or
yes.
Recorded early September, maybe. It was it was early September we recorded. It might have been September 10th.
Ooh, okay. You're on the ball. All right. So where did you go then?
I went off to Peru.
Yeah.
First, so I went to the U.S. for a little while to visit the family and do a little California tour. Then I went off to Peru, to the Sacred Valley and to the jungle. From there, I had a quick pit stop back here in Dublin, and then I went off to Nepal for 3 months. So almost 3 months in Peru and then almost 3 months in Nepal.
So when did you get back here?
Early April.
Okay.
Yeah.
And since you've been back... Now you're doing... What's changed for you since you've come back?
Oh my God, everything. Absolutely everything. So where you and I left off, I had just completed my role in law as a lawyer. I had just finished that role, left the office, and was embarking on this spiritual journey. I spoke in that in our last conversation about how I had done a lot of plant medicine that year. I think we discussed how I got very deep into my meditation practice after having a big fibroid surgery and fertility treatment to freeze my eggs. And so the trip to Peru and Nepal was it was like the next transition from leaving the corporate world, coming into, and at that time I didn't know who I was coming into or what I was coming into. I just knew that it was the next step. I just knew that there were gifts, things for me to learn in Peru and things for me to learn in Nepal. And I definitely received those gifts in both places. And now that I'm back home, I'm doing a few things actually. So I guess my main gig is I'm doing spiritual coaching. So basically like life coaching with a focus on spirituality, with a focus on helping people find their soul's purpose. In addition to that, I do one-on-one energy healings, incorporating Tibetan sound bowls. Some people call it sound massage, because you put the bowls on the body, so the vibrations go through the body.
Oh, wow.
They go through to a cellular level, actually, whereas massage would work on the muscular level, physiotherapy on, joints, and there's all kinds of therapies out there. Reiki on the subtle body. And the sound massage or the vibrational therapy with the bowls goes through to the cellular level. So it's just another type of alternative therapy for people to enjoy. So I incorporate Reiki, the sound healing, and shamanic techniques that I've picked up through working with different shamans and doing a few different courses. And I hold cacao ceremonies where people come, we drink cacao. You've been to a cacao ceremony. Cacao being a heart-opening medicine helps people to get into that heart space so that their intuition can arise and they can get in touch with their soul's purpose. So it's along the same lines of what I do with the energy healing, balancing people's energy so they can come into that place where their intuition can arise so they know where to go. They know what they're meant to be doing here. I believe we all have a purpose on this planet, and not all of us are fulfilling that purpose. As you know, you and I both were in a place in careers that didn't really serve us, and now we're doing what we love and what I think we're meant to be here doing. So the cacao ceremonies help people find that. The one-on-one energy healings help people find that. And then the one-to-one coaching, the life coaching, I help people find that. And I do retreats. I'm doing retreats for women that incorporate all those things, incorporate the cacao, the energy healing, the sound, getting in touch with the womb space, mostly doing all those modalities in connection with getting in touch with our womb. Because our womb, I know you've had Jenny Keane on the podcast, and she's talked a lot about yonis and how powerful they are. Well, I believe, and this is on my journey, I have found in my experience to be fully true, is that our yonis cannot be powerful. Our womb space, our creativity, and our empowerment, and our intuition, and our inspiration cannot flow out of our womb space until we've healed the womb. We carry trauma in the womb space. We carry the traumas that our mothers received during pregnancy or before they even became pregnant with us, and what their mothers carried. We carry all that in an imprint in our womb space, and this is a big block for women stepping into their power and letting their creativity flourish, letting their inspiration come to them. So this is what we work on in the retreats.
Yeah, I think the key part of that is that you've decided to specialize in something that really interests you, and something that seems quite niche, and something you would think. Sorry to turn this into like a business point of view, but I mean, you were coming from the world of in the legal world, being a lawyer, and that takes many years to do your exams. And then I remember when I first met you, I know I said this I'm sure I said this in the previous podcast that we did, when I first met you, it was at the Yoga Hub Christmas party. And yes. For anyone who hasn't listened to the other episode I did with Mandalei, and then my question to you was, why don't you be a full-time teacher? Because that's what I wanted to do. And when you have an opinion, you want people to reinforce it.
Yes, yeah.
You don't want to hear something that differs from that, because it can deter you from your path. And when you said that you don't think you could make a living from it, I suppose you'd invested so much time being a lawyer that that's what you're going to do. And then it went a 360 and you decided to become a full-time teacher. But it was once you really took the process of introspection and asked yourself what you actually wanted, and then realized that no matter what you choose to do, you'll find it, if you really love it, you'll find enough people that are interested in it.
Yeah, trust in what you're doing. If you love what you're doing, trust that the money will come, and and it does. And I think the perspective I was at that time when we met and had that conversation, I wasn't doing anything more than just teaching 1-hour classes. I wasn't really doing workshops or retreats. I definitely wasn't doing energy healings on anybody or the one-to-one coaching that I'm doing now. So I had a very limited view of what we could do as yoga teachers, At that point, I thought all we could offer people was that 1 hour a few times a week in the classroom. When really now we have both found that we can actually offer so much more to people outside of that 1 hour in the classroom. And it's just, for me, I just wasn't there yet on my soul's journey. I had some other things to learn about myself and about life and about yoga and how we create this union between ourselves and the divine, which is what yoga is, whether we're doing the physical practice in the studio or not. I
think that there's value in whichever way you receive yoga. There's value in each avenue. I mean, like, public classes can be great because you can access your practice for an hour and then go about the rest of your day.
Yeah.
But retreats, I think the blockage comes from the teacher themselves. They think that they're not ready, or they're not qualified, and maybe they're not ready, and maybe they're not. But I'm doing my first retreat in about a month. It's in September, and that's I'm really looking forward to it. And I remember when I was planning it, I was thinking to myself, like, hours would go by when I'd plan it, and I wouldn't even realise I'd be sitting at home for 3 hours, and because I was so into it, and I was running scenarios through my head of, oh right, we're all going to be around the fire, and then we're going to be in the hot tub, and then we're going to be eating dinner together, and I was so excited by it that I was like, this doesn't even feel like work, because I'm planning this, I'm looking forward to this as much as probably as the people that are going, and I thought this could actually be something you do more of, a lot more. But
there's a huge market for it. Like, people need retreat. It's called that for a reason. Like, we all need it. Yeah.
What have you found? Just before we came in here, we sat down. We were talking about massage, and I was explaining to you that my girlfriend Ray, she's becoming a massage therapist. It's brilliant. Like, I'm conscious of, like, speaking too much about other people and their business, but it's really inspiring for me to see someone go and do something they really want to do. And every time I see that, I get a boost, because I think, like, oh, it can be done at any time, any stage. But the idea of massage, and she is a massage therapist now, but she has made a commitment to getting a massage herself at least once a month. And I haven't really spoke to her about it, but you brought it up as we were sitting down. What to you is so important about massage?
It's the human touch, I think. I mean, aside from most of us go and get a massage when we have tension in the body or pain in our back or neck or hips or whichever, and that's one reason to do it, to have someone help us relieve that tension, because we can't do it on our own. But I think the main reason for me is the human touch. Just the touch of human hands on our body is so healing. It's so soothing to the soul. It's so healing to the vibration that we are operating at any given time. So for me, I made a commitment to myself this year as well, to get at least one massage. At least, I'm saying, one massage per month. Yeah. Because it is sorry to interject, but it is a skill as well. Like, the platonic touch. I think a lot of people think of touch and we immediately think it's sexual, just because we're so we don't do it as much as maybe we should, or we do in other cultures. And I think that when you become a massage therapist, that skill of being able to put your hand on someone and do it in a way that shows confidence, that you know what you're doing, but also you're tender as well. Because I have had massage in the past,
and they're not supposed to be deep tissue massages. They're supposed to be soothing aromatherapy massages, and you can pick up a lot from the person just by how they put their hands on you. It's crazy, isn't it? And it immediately can make you feel a certain way depending on how skilled they are.
Yeah.
What type of massage do you go for when you have a massage?
Well, it's funny. I was, after I got back, when I got back in April, I was like, I am going to find my massage therapist. And I went around to a few different people. Thai massage, Lomi Lomi massage. I love Lomi Lomi massage.
What is that?
It's a Hawaiian technique of massage where they do really long strokes on the body, and it's very spiritual practice. The practitioner has to be specifically trained in Lomi Lomi, and they're doing it from a place of spirit, not from a place of the physical body. So they're moving energy around really. With these really long strokes up the body. It wouldn't be that deep tissue you're talking about. And like having a GP, I was like, I'm going to find that massage therapist. It's going to be like my GP. Yeah. And so I tried a few, haven't found one, but then I met my boyfriend. And he just loves giving me massages.
Oh, wow.
he's not trained, but he's absolutely amazing at it. And I'm like, how are you being so amazing? And if you've never had any training, he's like, just because I love you. It's like I'm just putting love in my hands and moving around the body, and it's just happening. So I manifested my massage therapist in just a much different form than I expected.
That's funny.
So I guess I'm getting love massages is what I'm getting now.
Yeah. But why do you think people don't get massages as much as they should do?
That's a good question. Money could be a factor, because they're an investment. I think also, what was just in my mind there? I think also some people feel it's a luxury that they don't deserve. And this is something I'm finding out with working with my one-on-one clients and in my group, in my healing ceremonies with Cacao and stuff, is we don't feel like we deserve to be pampered.
This is such a good point.
Yeah, we don't feel like we deserve massages. We don't feel like we deserve facials and foot rubs and self-love, basically, is what it comes down to. We don't feel like we deserve to love ourselves enough to spend the money and the time on letting our bodies receive. Really what Rachel is doing is giving people love when she's massaging them,
Yeah, absolutely.
So
it's funny you say that, because I think we think of relaxation as kind of as dossing, as what's the better word for that, as doing nothing,
being lazy,
exactly. And I wonder that because my parents are Irish, they're from the countryside, and they're both from farms, and their whole thing when we would go to the countryside to see my gran would be like, there's Tommy Byrne, he's a great worker. That would be the main thing. Like what's good about him? Well, he's a great worker, or she's a great worker, and that would be how you'd evaluate someone's character. Is how hard can they work? Are they there first thing in the morning, last thing, and they don't moan about it. They just kind of grimace away and get on with it. And to not do that, to relax, it feels like it's being lazy. But now I think we live in a world where you don't work Monday to Friday, and your work is always with you. It's in your pocket. So you have to be even more mindful of setting aside time to not work. I mean, even my old man on Sundays he won't work. He doesn't go to church, but
okay.
But that's his day of rest, and he won't work. But even we don't have that anymore. We're like Sundays, sales are on, or stuff is still open.
Or, we actually have a day at home where we can respond to those emails we didn't get to last week.
Exactly.
It
never stops.
Because they're right in our pocket, like you said.
It never stops. But if you're always giving out, and you're not filling up your cup, as it were, then something's going to give. Have you noticed, what have been the main things you notice when people come to you, the reason why they need the things that you offer?
Most people say they feel stuck, or it's like they have a little niggle, like they know there's something not right. Actually, to be honest, most people, it's about career. It's either love or career. It's either in a relationship they feel stuck in some way, or in their career they feel stuck in some way. They know that there's something different out there, but they don't know what it is. Or with love, they can't get over a heartbreak, and they know in their rational mind they should. Everything points to them that they should be able to get over it, but they can't. Yeah, and in that case, it's just it's coming to self-love, finding self-love, because once you find that, the external love will just pour in. It's just the law of the universe. It's how it works. And then as far as, you know, my clients that come to me, I mean, there are other reasons why people come to me as well, but these are two big ones. The people feeling stuck in their career, it's because they don't have enough time in silence, enough time with themselves to be able to check in and let what they're meant to be doing arise within them, to let their passions arise within them. Because we're so busy after work, we're running to the gym, or we're running to drinks with friends, or meeting the family. At the weekends, we're away at festivals or to weddings. Gosh, you know, and that takes up a whole weekend. And we never really take time to just be with ourselves. And meditation really is the best way for that, you know, even if that means just sitting under a tree and staring at the tree. You don't have to have like a Buddhist meditation practice or a yoga meditation practice, just in silence with yourself, because the answers for what we're meant to be doing here are all inside. But we need to cut out some of the noise for those answers to be able to arise so we can hear them. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. What's your little rituals then that you do that help for you to create space in your head?
Meditation for sure. Like I meditated for 45 minutes before coming here. I had to. I was at All Together Now Festival this past weekend.
How was that? I actually haven't split on to shuffle this way a little bit.
It rained so much. It rained. Yeah, it rained so much. And I
was in Sligo, so I don't know. I mean, it rained in Sligo, but I didn't, you know.
It rained a lot, and it was very loud. I don't know. I was saying to one of my friends who's a sound guy who I was with, I was like, am I just getting old, or is it very loud? He agreed that it was very loud. I don't know. I think maybe I'm past that festival thing for a while. But it was still fun. I love camping, and it's enjoyable to be in that community vibe, that community atmosphere. But I don't drink anymore. So it's a different experience when you go sober and you're camping with people who are up drinking all night and loud music and stuff.
Loud.
And it's very loud. So I needed that 45-minute meditation this morning. But my rituals, meditation, if anybody checks out my website or comes to any of my classes, I really promote and encourage people to build an altar space in their home, even if they don't sit in front of it to meditate. Just having a little sacred space somewhere, even if it's in a corner, if it's on a table, if it's next to the bed, it doesn't matter where. It's a little reminder of our sacred nature. And our connection to a world outside of all these material things that we put too much value in. Little candle, little picture, a little Buddha statue, or a little gem or crystal that you love, a watch from your grandpa, whatever little nice things you like. And to bring a candle there, to bring in the fire element. I work a lot with the elements, the earth elements, to bring a shell there, to bring in the water element of like the ocean and the sea. You can even put a little cup of water at your altar to bring in the water element, which is really cleansing. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate, but just I have 3 altars in my house, and I don't always have been very busy, so I don't always get time to sit at them and meditate or pray. When I say pray, I do like bija mantras connected to the chakras, or other Sanskrit mantras I would recite. But even though I don't always get time to sit there, just passing it and seeing it isn't a good enough reminder. It's a quick tune in, like, okay, I'm something more than this phone in my hand, and this car I'm about to go get into, and this bag that I'm about to pick up with all these my valuable possessions within it. I am more than all of these things.
Yeah, it's so funny you say it, Mandalei, because you don't even notice, but when you walk up the stairs there, we have a room for yoga. We have our 2 mats down, and I don't burn incense anymore because I don't know what's in it, but I have a Palo Santo, or I have my diffuser, and I go in the morning, I put that on, and when I smell that, my brain probably says, right, it's time for yoga, you know,
Yes.
and the mats are down. I don't have to roll the mats out at all. They're there to go straight away. As soon as the door closes, that's it. We start. And I think it's so important to have ritual, because I find that now I'm doing 2 practices a day, so which suits me, because I do one in the morning, and then I do my work. And what I find is when I'm doing my work on my computer, on my iPhone, or any smartphone will do, is I find that I get caught up in my head with like thinking, right, I need to get this done, that done, you know, do this page for my website, send this email, and that I get all up in my head. And then if in the afternoon, if I have another practice, I shed it all away. And then once I'm in my yoga room, I feel like I don't need any external things to make me feel good.
Yeah.
All I need is movement and breath and mindful attention to how I'm feeling, and then relaxation at the end.
Yeah.
And if I have those 4 things, I realize, wow, I can actually tap in to how I feel. And essentially, putting it simple, I can feel good just by practicing yoga.
Yeah.
I don't need to have any kind of what's the word, when you're what's the word, when you're like approved by, I don't need to be validated by things outside of that.
Yeah.
But ritual is so important.
It is. And I think what I would add to that, having been a very strong yoga, physical asana yoga practitioner, and then after I had my surgery, I wasn't able to do asana anymore. All I had was my dharana and dhyana practice, my meditation and concentration practice from yoga. And you said if you have those 4 things, the breath, the yoga, I think if it came to a point when you couldn't physically practice yoga, where you just had the breath, just coming into that sacred space and shutting that door with your Palo Santo burning and your essential oils diffuser, that alone, without moving at all, I know you would just anyone could just drop right into that space, because you have created that sacred space, that ritual of coming to your sacred space. And you're right, your body remembers, your mind remembers, your body remembers, this is a time for just me, to be with my core self and not worry about any of those external things.
Yeah, I think you're right, because I do realize that my body movement is a vehicle for me, and that I need that, because I like to move a lot. I've always been that way since I was a kid. But if you couldn't, and that's all going to come to us one day, maybe the body's going to slow down, then as you said, you can still get where you need to go if you just have a ritual, have a practice. But do you mind me asking, you said you can't practice asana.
I can now, but I couldn't.
Oh, you couldn't? Sorry, okay.
Yeah, I couldn't, and that was when I had when I had my fibroid surgery. It was a full open abdominal surgery, so they cut me open from hip to hip.
Whoa.
And it was pretty major to remove the tumors that I had there. And they told me I wouldn't be able to practice yoga, and I was like, what? Like, there's so many gentle asanas you can practice. What do you mean? And I couldn't practice for, they said 3 months. And I was like, I can't even bend over to like touch my toes. Nothing. Side twist, nothing. They didn't want me to do anything. And that really freaked me out, because like, as you've just said, our movement is so important to us as yogis. It really freaked me out. I was like, I'm going to go crazy if I can't move my body, and but I had no choice. So, and then that's when I found the meditation side of yoga, and I had to just shelf the asana for a while. And guess what? It was fine. It was completely fine, because our bodies respond to what's happening in the present. I didn't feel like I was missing anything. I didn't once feel like, oh man, I wish I had my physical practice, I need to move. Not once. The meditation got me through, and creating that ritual of having the sacred space to be in.
When you practice, do you normally practice alone?
Yeah.
Okay.
And but that's how I got into the energy healing, and that's how I even learned that we all have a purpose on this earth that comes from the soul that we need to find, is because I couldn't physically practice anymore. So I was no longer in the space of doing, because when we're physically practicing, unless you can get your mind into that meditative state where you're not thinking about your next movement, or whether your knee is aligned with your ankle, or whether you're rooting to the outside of the foot and not falling into your inner arch, we're using our mind for all of that. And that's a doing. That's not a being. When we're meditating or in receiving energy healing or giving ourselves energy healing, we're just being. And this is when our gifts arrive. This is when our passions come to the surface. Yeah. This is when we find what we're meant to be doing here. And this is where we find the answers of where to go next and what to do next on our journeys.
But I mentioned on Instagram yesterday that about people preaching about what is not yoga, and what the point I was getting at. Instagram is so limited, you can write a few captions and things get misunderstood. My point I was making is that I have noticed how some people, particularly people that have been teaching for many years, will say this isn't yoga, that isn't yoga, and they kind of put down things. Whereas I like to hear, as you're talking about there, what yoga is to you, and what you get from it. And no, you don't need, as you said, you don't even need to have an asana practice. Yoga can be different, look like different things for different people, but it's not the case. It's not one of action, it's one of being, isn't it? As you said. And speaking of like yoga and doing it alone, because I often do my yoga alone as well. I just find, just my schedule and stuff, I'm on my own practicing. I rarely go to public classes. Yeah. But I do think that spirituality can be very powerful when you're in a group. And I like, even you go to watch Arsenal in the Emirates. Well, it used to be better in Highbury, but the Emirates is their new stadium. But when you're like chanting a football song, you are there. It's something. It feels like something spiritual is happening. If you forget about the bad words and and maybe the environment that you're in, the thing of being with other people, it feels a bit like a church. And without the kind of dogmatism, but I think that's what I'm missing a little bit. Is I miss that being with other people, and this is what reason why retreats interest me so much, because I haven't actually been on many retreats. Okay. What do you think is so? I mean, I know the clues in the name, but what do you think is so valuable about a retreat? In your experience? Yeah.
So for me, it's getting the space to just be, and to just be with other people. Because then when you're on retreat, most retreats, I think if they're a good one, you don't have your phones accessible. So like in my retreats, I ask people to either leave their phones in their cars, or some people even give me their phones and I put them away in a cupboard. Okay. So they're not tempted to look at them. And all the retreats that I do, if they don't require you to, like, because, when I was in Nepal, I did Buddhist retreats. I was living in a monastery for almost a month, and they actually take your phone and your laptop away. They take your journals and your books away from you. They take everything away from you. So I think, so these are the types of retreats that I go on, and I require in my retreats for people to give up their phones. That for me is the main thing. You're getting away from your ordinary life, from the things that you do every day. And you're coming into this space where once you get rid of those things, you can just be yourself once you don't have these attachments. And you can just be yourself with other people, and to be seen as you without all these distractions it's really healing. It's really empowering. It gives us a lot. It's a real boost to our sense of self. Not our ego is not what I'm talking about. Like, our sense of our true selves, our core selves, which is the heart and which is love. And even though, like you're saying, at these Arsenal matches, you're all chanting, who knows what, I don't know what you're chanting, but it's like, obviously we're going to beat the hell out of you, the other team, and we're the best. And
that's to put it politely.
And there's probably beer sloshing around as people are, but still, that's the feeling you're getting. It's like your hearts are connecting, because at that point, your hearts are all going out to this team, and all your heart energy is connecting together. And that's what I find on retreat is the most important thing. You can let the distractions, the things from your ordinary world, you can leave them behind, you can leave them in a cupboard, and then you can just be who you are at your core with other people there. And do things that matter, you know, do yoga, cooking food together, spending time together, not doing anything, just being in each other's company, like you said, in a hot tub or on a walk through nature. In my retreats, we do some crafting, you know, collect things in nature and make smudges, or flower wreaths, or, you know, being with people, doing with people. That's I think the main thing about retreats.
I like that. That is actually, because do you say when you first do the copy for your retreat, do you say on anywhere, if you sign up for this retreat, we ask you to hand in your phone? Do you say that before people join?
No, I don't do it in the advertisement, because you're limited in flyers and whatnot, how much you can put on there. But I send an email about a week before the retreat to, you know, give people expectations of, you know, the schedule, because I'd also wouldn't put that in the full schedule in the advertisement either. Why not? So just because it's a lot.
Too much text?
Yeah, too much text.
Okay.
Like my retreats are more... they're not relaxed. They are relaxing, but they're more, it's like their personal development and their deep healing work. So we have chunks of time that that once we fill, we have to move on to the next thing. So that, like, shamanic workout in nature, and then a fire ceremony in the evening, ritual flower baths on the Sunday morning. And I have up to 20 people in my retreat. So, you know, you have to get all those things done in that amount of time to move on to the next thing. So I would send an email out before to give people kind of a little rough idea of the schedule. And then, you know, since we're going to be outside, tell them what kind of gear to bring with them to make sure that they feel secure and safe, you know, going out in nature. Even down to like what the beds are like, just everything you'd want to know if you were going to a retreat. And then, sorry, what was the question you said? Why don't I tell them? No,
it was, do you tell them about the mobile?
Oh, the mobile phones, and I say it in that email.
Yeah. I think that's, I'm going to run that by Lisa, but that sounds like a really good idea to me, because you could say, well, if people have their phones, then they'll take pictures, they'll put it on Instagram, and it's advertising for the retreat. But to be honest, I don't really need it. It's not that important to me. Like, I don't need it. I don't need to... And it is, as you said, it's people just... to give people a bit of empowerment to say, I don't need my phone for 3 days. I actually don't need it. And I choose to use the phone. The phone doesn't use me. Yeah. And I'm getting sassy. So true, though. And I doubt anyone would be... I'd be very surprised if anyone was resistant to that suggestion.
I've been surprised. Nobody has been resistant to me. And not once. Everyone's like, really? We're allowed to not have our phones? Yeah. Okay. Like, people love it. Yeah. So I would definitely recommend. I mean, you give people the option. Obviously, if there's someone who really wants to have their phone, then they can really have their phone. Like, I'm not going to tell people. I'm just giving them the option, you know, and most people take it. And then as far as pictures on retreat and stuff, I just say, you know, we can take pictures on the last day in the afternoon if you want to get photos together, because it takes you out of the present moment. You know, if you're doing a meditation, or you're settling down to do a meditation, or, you know, outside, or settling in, getting your mats out to do your asana practice. I'm speaking of like your retreat now. Someone brings out the phone. It just takes everyone right out of that present moment that you're all sharing. And then someone sees someone else on their phone, they think, oh, well, I might as well look at my one now, and then everyone's looking at their phone. Yeah. And that is such a good point. Also, as well, about being present, it blows my mind, and I just don't understand this when I see people like videoing everything. Like, I'm at a concert, I'm going to video the whole concert. Yeah. Like I get having a picture maybe to capture the moment, but like, no one wants to see some shitty image, like blurred footage of a concert they weren't at, with really bad sound quality and a shaky camera, shaky hand. I understand that we want to share, and I like sharing too, but I honestly, if I wasn't on Instagram, if I wasn't working for myself as a soul trader, yoga teacher, I don't think I'd be on Instagram. I 100% feel the same issue. I just don't see it. I remember 2 years ago, when I started Instagram, I was like, I've heard of this Instagram thing. What is it? And someone's telling me it's like Facebook, but it's just pictures.
said, why would you want to share pictures with people you don't know? I don't
Yeah.
get that. And then I realised, oh, okay, I can share what I do with my yoga practice
Yeah.
and let people know where I'm at and stuff. And now it's very, very handy tool. But when I was travelling back in 2006, when I went around the world, with my mate, and we'd get to some tourist destination, everyone had their cameras out and constantly taking pictures and like constantly. And I thought of myself, look, I can just go on Google Images and Google Lake Taupo and just get a really good picture of Lake Taupo there.
Yeah.
Taken by a professional photographer,
Yeah.
and it'll be much better than this. Whereas you're going to have a bunch of photos that you'll probably never look at, and I can guarantee you, if you say to someone, "Oh, I was traveling around the world. Do you want to see a picture of Lake Taupo?" They'll be like, they'll may politely say yes, but they really don't want to see your holiday pictures. No one wants to see your holiday pictures unless they've been on to that place.
Yeah.
or
unless they're really close to you. They're like your parents. Even then, my parents, I don't think they haven't seen my pictures of Nepal or Peru, you know?
Yeah, unless you're in the picture, maybe then. But like, just for God's sake, just stop, look at what you're looking at, enjoy it and think, I'll never see this again. Part of it for me when I was traveling was I was too lazy to just get my camera out, because this is before they had smartphones, so it was like, before I had a smartphone, so I had one of those Casio little cameras, a quick snap thing, a snapshot thing, and I thought I couldn't bother getting my camera out again. And but yeah, the photo thing is interesting. I mean, go on, Mandalei.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, the thing is, once you take that option away from yourself of having the pictures, like I took hardly any pictures when I was in Peru, and I was in some of them. I was in the Sacred Valley, which, if anybody listening, if you've been to the Sacred Valley, if you haven't been, definitely go. If you've been, you know what I'm talking about. These mountains are so impressive. I mean, there are impressive mountains all over the world. These mountains are super duper special. The local people, the Quechua people, the descendants of the Aztecs, call them Apus, which means gods in Quechua, because they worship these mountains as gods. These mountains carry energies through them that bring lots of amazing stuff to people's lives. It's like these people live by the mountains. And just being there, like the way you feel, like you get a mental picture. When you take away the option of taking a photo with your phone or with a professional camera, so you can look at later, your mind, the experience will be imprinted within you. Your mind will take the picture for you, and you'll have that picture later. I have the picture right now of the exact about what I'm thinking of. Like I have a full picture in my mind. And that's what really matters, because it's not just the picture, it's the feeling that you have. Like the feeling I have in my body right now is exactly how I felt when I was standing in front of this beautiful mountain.
Because you're thinking, right, I'm never going to see this again properly, so I'm really going to take this all in my mind.
Well, I'm going to see it again in January. But...
Okay, sure enough.
But there was the option at that time. I didn't know if I was going to see it again or not. But yeah, like you're like this, when you're present in the moment, that's the thing. We're talking about presence. When you are present in the moment, you will remember. You're not going to forget. And then if you're not being present in the moment, if what you're relying on is photos for your experience, well, then that's a shitty experience.
Yeah, and also,
you know,
also I was clear. I just bought a new Mac, and I was swapping my data from one to the other, and it was running out of space, and I had all these old photos from only from anywhere between 5 to 10 years ago, like maybe 1,000 photos. I just deleted them all.
Good. Oh my God, did it feel so good?
I didn't feel anything.
Oh, okay.
Which probably tells you a lot. I thought these are people that I met them once upon a time. They're great people. Maybe I'll see them again. Maybe I won't. But I'm not going to look at these pictures or send them to anyone. Or if I occasionally see a picture of me back in the day, I'm like, oh, that's cool, and then let move on. But pictures that I do like are in our house, my mum and dad's house. We've got our photo albums, and there's pictures of me and my sister as kids.
Yeah,
that's different.
Yeah, that's different. That's definitely different. But obviously, if you're a professional photographer and you take some great shots, like hanging pictures in your house or something, like if you're like you were saying Lake Taupo you were at, if you took a picture of yourself and you wanted to like frame it in your house or something, like then it becomes a piece of art for you as well.
I wonder if you're saying how if you weren't on a yoga you weren't doing what you're doing as a living, you probably wouldn't be on Instagram. I wonder if people like yoga girl, Rachel
Brathen, yeah.
Like how much she documents her child, and other people do it as well. They document their child, like thousands of photographs on that everyone can see. That for me, that's a strange one. Like,
yeah,
they don't have any say in if they want their picture up or not.
Yeah.
And what we can do now with technology in terms of like facial, what do you call it? When basically, what's it called? Oh, damn it, I've forgotten the word. But it's when they can, essentially, they have a video of Obama speaking, and he didn't say any of those words. You know,
oh, right.
like
I don't know what that's called.
They take thousands of images or hundreds of images of your face, and then they can manipulate it so that it looks like you're saying something. You know.
Oh, okay.
But I just wonder, like, you know, people that are taking images of children. I don't know. It's me.
Yeah.
I watched a documentary the other day. I'm going off on a tangent. Sorry, Mandalei.
That's okay.
About Facebook and the Facebook hack and the whole Cambridge Analytica.
Oh, it's so funny. My boyfriend and I started watching that 2 nights ago, and we're like, oh yeah, that'd be good. We'd be interested in that. And then like 10 minutes into it, we're like, oh, do we really want to be going to bed on this note? Like, and we actually know this is happening. We don't really need to watch it and feel shitty. So yeah, we'll just turn it off and go have sex instead. Make love. We'll go make love instead.
All right, let's stop talking about that and talk about sex then. Because this is why we're here, because 2 people had sex and now you're here and I'm here.
Exactly.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's creation. It's all around.
It's all around. And I do actually think like that when I was younger, I didn't have a clue about women's menstrual cycles or anything like that. It wasn't interesting me. But now I realise that a major part of my happiness, probably the key part of happiness, is the woman that I'm with.
Yeah.
You know, I really love her, and you know, and if I can understand her more, then my life is more fulfilling.
Yeah.
You know, and I noticed that when one of your Instagram posts, it said Cacao Ceremony, men welcome. So that gives the impression, I'm sure it's the case, that it's mostly women that go through these, if not exclusively women.
There's always 1 or 2 men in my ceremonies.
Okay.
Yeah, there's been like the token 1 man, and now we've increased to the token 2 men.
Hey, go on
for
the lads.
Ceremony. Yeah, it's catching on more, and I just like to say that so men know that they can come, because you know, I'm doing the ceremonies at a Reformation studio, the new studio that opened up on Waterloo Lane. Yeah. I teach some yoga classes there as well, and you know, through pictures and like, you know, the verbiage you use and stuff, I feel like it might seem like it's more targeted towards a feminine audience. And yoga, there still aren't as many men in yoga as there could be, and there will be in the future. I think it's still kind of viewed as something for women. Ironically, it was created by men for men, as we both know. But so that's why I say men welcome, because I want to encourage more men to come and get in touch with themselves. But yeah, you're right. It is mostly women who come, and the men who do come they're always like pretty floored and very grateful for the experience.
Yeah, but even as you said, the verbiage, like when I first started practicing yoga, there was goddess pose, and I didn't want to do goddess pose.
Well, it's also Trojan pose. It's not just called goddess pose. It can be called Trojan pose as well.
But I remember one teacher. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
One teacher said this is also called horse dance in martial arts.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I like martial arts, so I can do a horse dance. And it's amazing how we are so that marketing is so important. Not just to get people, not just to attract people, but to communicate things like inclusion. You know, for example, I went to another Cacao Ceremony I went to. It was Johan Guest who was teaching. He's Brian Guest's nephew.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Great.
But him and another guy were teaching. So then I thought, okay, they're men, so I'm going to go because they're men. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And we went there. It's pretty much a 50-50 split, like
That's great.
men to women. Actually, I just thought of something, because one of the women at the Cacao Ceremony had an incredible amount of plastic surgery. Incredible. And I seen on your Instagram that you said that when you were younger you were going to get a nose job.
Oh yeah, oh God, when did I post that? But yeah, I was.
I'd done my research, Mandalei.
Yeah.
So And then what age were you when you thought of that?
Oh, I mean, I was young. I was like 10, 11,
Oh.
12. Yeah, or like a teenager.
Okay.
But like when you're going through puberty, your face you're growing into your adult face. I felt like my nose was abnormally large. Also, I had an auntie who was a supermodel and got 2 nose jobs, and she and I looked identical.
Anyone we know?
No, she's like in her late 50s now.
Okay. So she'd have been like the Cindy Crawford kind of days.
She was more of a local supermodel in the U.S. She was an international supermodel.
Okay.
She was, what year was she? She was Miss America one year.
Oh, Jesus.
Anyhow, she was beautiful.
Yeah.
And
Fair enough.
I don't think she probably didn't need a nose job at all. I don't know. I can't remember what her nose looked like. She probably didn't need a nose job, but I remember she had 2 nose jobs. And so I thought, because everyone was like, oh, you look just like your auntie. You look just like your auntie. I thought, I must need a nose job too if she's had nose jobs. And plus I lived in Las Vegas. I grew up there, and it's a very...
Oh, wow.
Almost every other woman you look at has an incredible amount of plastic surgery. It's just very common where I'm from for women to get plastic surgery on their faces and on their bodies. So when you're surrounded by other people, adults who are doing this, you think like, oh, this is what I meant to be doing too. But no, I love my nose now. I'm so happy I never got anything done to it.
What do you think of that, of plastic surgery? I mean, I know it's a very broad statement, but I suppose in relation to yoga, I know it's a kind of a loaded question, but...
Yeah, I know. I think it's a really big question because you have, I think plastic surgery, people are getting it to make themselves feel better,
True.
They feel like if they look in the mirror and they see something they like more, they're going to feel better in themselves. So from that perspective, I think it's good, but it's like, why are they not already feeling good about themselves? What's happening on the inside that makes them feel like they have to change something on the outside? So getting plastic surgery to make you feel better about yourself is only going to last so long, and that's why I think people end up getting more and more and more and more. It's kind of like buying material possessions, buying cars and buying watches and buying fancy bags and shoes. They only keep you happy for so long. So the new face you get, it's only going to keep you happy for so long. If there's something inside that's keeping you unhappy or in discontent, it's still there. Changing the outside doesn't fix the inside.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I never told anyone this, or not on the podcast anyway, but when I was 16, so I was born essentially deformed. I was born with pectus excavium, I believe it's called, which is when you have a big dip in your chest.
Yeah.
I think about 1 in 200 boys have it, and about 1 in 500 girls.
Okay.
To different degrees.
Yeah.
And it was really deep. I remember my cousin I used to lie on the floor and eat crunchy nut cornflakes out of my chest because
Wow.
I could fit almost like milk and the crunchy nut cornflakes in my chest.
Yeah.
And then I took a picture of me eating it with a spoon or whatever, because that's what you do when
Yeah,
you got an older cousin
Yeah.
and you do anything to make him happy. But I remember thinking, it was kind of fun and stuff when I was young, but when I became a teenager,
Yeah.
it really bothered me, and I used to leave my shirt on when I go swimming.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like 13, 14, I'd leave my t-shirt on, and I'd be really paranoid about it because people were like, what's wrong with your chest? So then I went to a doctor, and he said, oh yeah, we do these surgeries, and your heart's actually been pushed to the side. So his advice was, look, your heart has been really pushed to the side.
Yeah.
So if you have the operation, it will flatten out your chest and it will give your heart more room, but also cosmetically you'll look normal, as it were.
Yeah.
And I have to say, Mandalei, when I was that age, that was really important to me.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
And I had the surgery done when I was 16. It completely messed up my GCSEs. I probably wouldn't have studied that much anyway. But and yeah, it was a really dramatic surgery. It was about 5 or 6 hours.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it was big. And then after that, it got done. I was like, oh, my chest is actually flat. I started to do push-ups. I bought a bench press from Argus catalogue. Started doing bench pressing, dips, and I was like, oh, I'm actually getting quite muscular. And when I was 16, I was like, I kind of look like a man now.
Yeah.
And that made me think, made me feel a bit more like a man, a bit more confident and stuff. And so when I talk about cosmetic surgery, I suppose technically I've had kind of cosmetic surgery.
Yeah.
Although there was maybe possibly underlying issues. So I hear what you're saying about feeling good. because when you feel like you are abnormal, it's hard.
It is hard, especially when you're a kid and kids are so cruel and so judgmental. Adults can be as well. But yeah, that's why I say it's a tough one. But in a case like yours, of course, that was the right choice, and it gave you that. You fixed the outside so that the inside could be fixed, and it worked in that case. But there are people like these extreme cases, like you're talking about, of the woman that had the incredible mountain face. Who knows what's going on in her life? I can't say, but I do know that there are people out there who continually change things on the body because really they're looking to change something on the inside, you know. But it's like if it's going to make someone feel better about themselves and enhance their lives in some way, then of course, you know.
The thing about that what's really interesting, I think it was Rach, my girlfriend, who said this. She said it really well. I wish I could remember how she said it, but it was about when the face has been changed so much that it lacks expression, and that is where you know, a huge part of being, I think, happy or being a human is being able to communicate with people.
Of course.
And if your face has gone to a point where, I understand, you know, little bits, whatever. I mean, what's the difference between getting an anti-wrinkling cream and getting Botox? Who's to say what the difference is? But if it gets to a point where you can't use your face to express how you're feeling, that almost puts up a facade, doesn't it, between a barrier and... I don't know. I suppose maybe it's a slippery slope. Then once you've started, it's kind of But sorry. I went off one there. I'm just thinking about my surgery, but I might actually have to get the bar taken out.
Oh, you have a bar in there?
I've still got a bar in there. It's about 10 inches. It goes right across.
Oh, wow.
And I have a huge scar across my chest.
Oh, wow.
It goes right from underneath one armpit to the other.
Crazy.
And they actually... I mean, shout out to the surgeon who done it, but he cut through one of my nipples.
Oh!
Yeah.
No way.
He went about maybe a centimetre underneath one. Cool, nice job. But then the other one, he cut through it.
He must have had to do that. You wouldn't cut under one and then through the other one unless it was absolutely necessary. I have to... Like, what?
I actually can't... I'm really oversharing now, but I actually can't feel anything in my chest. So if someone touches me on the chest, which doesn't happen apart from the other half, I have no sensation in my chest.
It's the same with my womb space.
Really?
My lower abdomen, around my scar. I have no sensation there. They cut through lots of nerves. They say sometimes the sensation comes back and sometimes it never does. Like, they have severed nerves, you know, and that's where our nerves are responsible for us feeling sensation. So maybe we'll never get it back. But that's okay.
That's okay.
Everything's impermanent.
So, all right. So, tell me about what's happening next for you then.
Oh gosh, what's happening next for me? Well, lots of things. I have so many things happening right now. I have another retreat coming up in October, another Womb Awakening retreat for women to awaken their creativity, inspiration, and empowerment. I have a couple different workshops coming up with helping people get in touch with their chakras, learning about the chakra system so that they can help to heal the body and enhance their yoga practice, enhance their asana practice through getting to know the chakras. I have cacao ceremonies, about one per month I'm trying to do. I could be doing more. I get inquiries all the time to do cacao ceremonies. So I have another one of those coming up this month. And I'm in plans to open up a healing center, a retreat center in Blessington.
Oh.
Yeah. My boyfriend has property there, and we're working on building a retreat. It's going to have a sauna and hopefully a sweat lodge, healing rooms, little cabins for people to stay on. We're growing all of our own herbs to make our own teas. We're going to have organic veg and herbs that we can use for the food. And it's right on the lake. So it's a beautiful, beautiful setting and just like close enough to the city that people can come out there. And not have to travel too far away for like a weekend or 3 or 4 day retreat or something. So that's what's coming up next. That's the big thing.
And then January, you're going back to the mountains.
And I'm going to go back to Peru in January and just be in the mountains.
How long for?
I'm hoping to go for a month. I'm also working on a yoga teacher training. So I've got to be around for that. So I can't go for too long, but I fully support people taking a month or 2 months off here and there where they can, to just go and be, or just stay home and be.
Did you say you're coming back for a teacher training? Or you're going...
Oh, no, I'm doing a teacher training here in Dublin, so I can't go away for too long because, it's on monthly.
In Dublin? Okay.
In Dublin, yeah, at Reformation, they're doing a...
Good for you.
Yeah, so I'm just helping on it. I'm not running the full thing.
Yeah.
I'm assisting on it, so I'll be one of the teachers on the full training. I'm doing a few of the modules.
Is it a 200 hour?
It's a 200 hour, yeah, so I'll be doing the workshops on chakras and breath and on yoga nada, which is the yoga of sound, because I do the sound healings and play the bowls. And so I'll be doing those 2 modules on the workshop.
And when's that starting?
That starts in September. So next month, it starts next month.
Oh, blimey.
Yeah, and it's going to be 1 weekend per month through next summer.
Nice one.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
I still haven't been down to that studio, but I must.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Go.
You must come.
It looks nice.
It's a gorgeous, gorgeous space.
Yeah.
Really nice. And really warm.
Yeah.
That's always important in a yoga studio, I think.
Warm. Literally warm. Oh, yeah, warm as in, not warm as in the reception, but as in temperature. Temperature
warm. Yeah. No. Ambiance warm, atmosphere warm, and temperature warm. Okay. Yes, both.
Which is good with the winter approaching.
Very good with the winter approaching. It has lots of windows and skylights, so it's always very airy and bright in there. It's a really special space.
Nice one. Cool, Mandalei. Well, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. That's and good. Thanks for sharing about your surgery.
Thank you for listening.
Happy to listen to it. That's, really brave to share. And also, wow, well done.
Yeah.
You for getting through that.
Still trying to be normal.
What happens? Wait, sorry, before we hang up, what happens?
Hang up. You're sitting right here.
I know. Before we turn off the mics, okay. You hang up. The rod, when you go through the metal detector at the airport, does it go off?
No, it doesn't. It went off like once or twice, but I think that might have been something else. But no, because it's made of titanium. Titanium doesn't go off. So
it doesn't weigh anything either, so it's not like...
No, it's pretty light.
Okay. Wow, cool.
There you go.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much for having me again, Kevin.
Thank you for coming. Thanks so much for listening to that podcast. I know it was an hour long. They're getting longer and longer. I think that's because I tend to go off on tangents. And I notice how the guests sometimes will start to sweat and look at me thinking, where's this going? But that's podcasting for you. Got to keep it authentic and just see where the conversation goes. So, last few things before I let you go. Events. Heels Overhead, the handstand workshop. Greystones Yoga Studio, August 31st. That is it's 35 quid, which is a bargain because Greystones is a posh area. And the other event is the week after that is an audience with Dan Morgan, live podcast with Dan, who is a life coach. He's a yoga teacher, a massage therapist, and an all-round diamond geezer. That's a free event. You can find both those events on my website, kevinboyleyoga.ie, under events and retreats. The other thing is teacher training. If you want to become a teacher, or most people want to just deepen their practice, then maybe join our teacher training starting in September in Yoga Hub Castle Knock. Early bird offer is on until August 12th, and it's going to run from September to May next year, and I hope it proves to be a transformative experience for you. I'll leave you with our ye old faithful sponsor, Small Changes, organic, eco-friendly, plant-based whole food store with a zero waste ethos here in Dublin, Ireland. They got the self-service counter now, which is really great because they're getting busier and busier, so now they can let people kind of get in and get out and get their goods and get on the go. A lot of G's there. So check them out, Small Changes, Drumcondra, Dublin 9. If you have any questions for me, please let me know. Thank you again so much for your reviews on iTunes, for sending me messages on Instagram, for sharing the podcast with your friends on your IG stories. It makes a huge difference to me. 1,000 people listen to this every week, and you're one of them. And every time I do a podcast, I imagine like there's 1,000 people sitting in my loft with me. So which would get cozy, yeah, because it's a fairly small loft. But thank you so much for being part of this. I really appreciate it, and I love you all. So catch up with you next week. Bye.